Okay.
Keeping my phone.
Welcome home. We keeping our phone. I said we home. Ooh.
Check the audio. So on this podcast, video producer and audio engineer.
So you're like multitasking.
Test.
That's actually perfect for what we're going to talk about, like the hustle.
You already know.
Shameless plug.
Pluggies. You already know we drinking that famous line, Chai by Daniel's Chai Bar. Ooh, served to the king. Ooh, royalty. Ooh. And I got my glasses on, so I feel extra elegant today.
Hustle, evolve.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Welcome
right.
to the Home Podcast. Hustle, move, evolve. My name is Jonathan Lewis. I'm your co-host.
I'm Daniel Lewis, also your co-host, and we are looking to have some great conversations, discussions to inspire, elevate, move you, improve your hustle, and overall just inspire you to reach for more. There's a lot more, and I think if we could kind of extract from our stories, experiences, and thoughts, we'll be able to give some value.
We'll be good.
So,
you kick it off.
all right, this is episode 1. We are so excited to not jive right in, but dive right in and get talking. Now, as we said, hustle, move, evolve. And today, I want to kick off by us talking about the hustle. It's funny because everybody thinks they're hustling.
Yes.
Right? And I'm never going to knock anybody's thought on that. But I find when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's a lot of starting points, right? It's like you started it, you gave up after 2 weeks, or you just let it rest. Then you got back at it maybe a year later. Life got in the way, maybe 5 months later. And so you often see with entrepreneurs this constant starting.
Yes.
But what I wanted to know is in your own journey, when did you really start? When did you really start? When did you know, like, my hustle has begun
Yes.
for you personally?
Great question. It allows me to go back into a time where my first logo,
Oh my goodness.
my
bro.
first
video.
video.
The dolphin video.
Yes, my first ever
dolphin.
created video.
Are you able to find it and like,
I can't find it.
bro?
I can't find it.
That'd been something.
It was an animated dolphin going through some animated water.
And you were excited
And
about it.
You have to understand when you create something, right? Whether it's a bracelet, a shirt, a sweater, a hoodie, a video, a picture, any art piece, it's yours, right? And nobody can really knock that because you didn't make it, right? So now I'm in this stage of my life where I want to create a business for myself, and I actually learned something. So to see what I learned be moving on the screen, that means, okay, I'm evolving. Like I'm moving from something that I did not know to something that is now moving. And I showed my family and they all laughed. and they weren't laughing because
It's not at you.
Yeah.
It was
It's like, this
at
is cute.
it.
Right.
It's new.
Yeah.
And people laughing is sometimes a reaction of something we don't understand. And I think that's what it was for us. Like, okay, John's here. We see this animated dolphin hopping around the screen, but you're really excited about it. I want to just dive in. You don't mind me just jumping right in your story, right? So you said just now excitement. You were excited.
Yeah.
How important do you think excitement is in your hustle?
I think excitement is the hustle. That's a part of the hustle. That is the initiation of the hustle. If you're not excited about what you're doing, then you need to find something else. Because once you lose the excitement, I think you lose the motivation, you lose the foundation, you lose the veins, the bloodstream, the heart.
Relationship tip.
You lose everything without the excitement. And I think, and again, like you just said, like I think losing the excitement in anything, you put it on the floor, anything, whether it's a relationship, a business, anything, once you lose the excitement, that's it. And to know that almost 13 years, January 18th is my 13th, I'm still excited. I'm excited to produce this podcast. I'm excited to produce the podcast that I produce now. Like, I think what made me continue my hustle was my excitement to learn.
And I still see that same level, if not higher, excitement and passion. Like just now, taking a picture of my tees, right? And you're like, oh, let me just see your phone for a second, and you're like trying all these wide angles and stuff like that. So it's cool to see how it's evolved, it's matured, it's gone on to be to express creativity, award-winning, but at the same time you're excited.
Yes.
And so how does a person know that they're going to, how do they know that this hustle is going to be something they're going to be excited about, you know, in the long term? Or do you know? Can you know?
Like, I don't think you can really know. No, because how I got into videography was literally by a friend asking me to record her while she went up for I think some poetry or some singing, and she said, when I go up, hold this camera and just press the red button when you see.
That's why you named it that?
And that's why and then
I didn't even know that.
So because every camera globally, or like 98% of the cameras, they have the red button. So when I started my company, it was still called Jonathan Productions, but I named the website pressthatredbutton.com because of that moment, right? So again, it's just it's you don't know until you keep it up. Like you have to just keep it up. And then if you don't see that you're excited still, I just don't think it's fair to your potential customers, your potential clients, the potential projects that you're going to be in charge of. I don't think it's fair to be doing that and being in charge of that and you're not excited about it, because then you're robbing the experience and you're not giving it the justice that it deserves, both to yourself and to the project, thirdly to the client as well too. So I think excitement is everything, and I will now bounce that back to you. Your startup is crazy. Like, because I literally have seen it. It's crazy. Like, I don't even want to get into your story and saying it for you. I want you to say it. But when would you say, because you have a lot of hustles, right? But when would you say, like, for, I don't even know where to start because you have so many things, right?
But I know what you're trying to ask.
Like entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I'm going to, because I know we're going to have a lot of episodes where we dive a little deeper back into the, you know, and so let me just jump right into like Tea by Daniel.
Well, everyone knows.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'm going to keep that.
Okay, so I'm starting this tea company. I'm working at Domino's Pizza. Okay, I'm working at Domino's Pizza, and I am delivering pizzas. I'm a franchisee in training. I'm a general manager at Domino's Pizza. Thinking Domino's Pizza is my hustle. And then, So then me and my friend Chad, shout out to Chad. He's working with me as well. We're both working at Domino's Pizza, and one day boss sends us on a mission to go get schools to sign a contract for pizza days, because the school season's coming up. We're supposed to go around and say, hey, would you like to do your pizza day with Domino's, whatever. So we pull up, we're visiting school after school. I have these contracts in my hand, go talk to the principals, all that stuff, see if we could drum up some orders. So then I go in to this one school. This is like a game changer for me. I go into this one school. Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm the general manager at Domino's Pizza, and we know that school season's coming up. We're just wondering, you know, if you've chosen any pizza providers for your pizza days. It's like, oh no, I'm glad you guys came. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, here's our contract. Da, 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 you know, every Fridays and blah 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 blah. 5 minutes later, they sign. Done. I have this signed contract. Pizza days worth XXX. I don't want to put their business out there. Worth a lot. Signed. 5-minute conversation. So I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Da-da-da. Yeah, okay, we look forward to it, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm walking out the school and I'm like, epiphany. I'm like, if this 5-minute conversation could result in a contract for Domino's Pizza, why can't I come up with something and do the exact same thing and go around and get people to sign a contract for me?
There was no Tea by Daniel?
No, didn't start it yet. And I know I'm going to answer the question on like how to, but I just want you to know where it turned on, right? This is how simple it could be. If I could just figure something out, a product, a service or something, get a contract and go meet people, present myself well, get them to sign. This is how I can do it. So I go back to the car. I'm like, Chad, we're messing up. We gotta find something for ourselves, bro. We can get a contract of something. Long story short, this entrepreneurial bug just bit me. And it's bit me before, but this was like a aha, like we need to do this. And so took the plunge and started exploring, researching, thinking, what could this product be, blah, blah, blah. So I start this tea company.
I remember the conversation in your condo.
Yes, where we sat around and I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be built on extreme customer service, where we are just going to, whatever people are doing to serve customers, I'm going to take it 20 million levels higher. Deal with people and really, really impact people. And you guys are making fun of me.
Yeah.
You're like, you cannot build a business by just saying customer service. What is the product? I'm like, I don't know what the product's going to be.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? So long story short, I start this tea company and I thought, okay, well, I launched the website. Okay, people are supposed to start shopping and nothing happened. For a while, month, nothing happened. People at Domino's were, Dan, do you have some tea? I'll buy it. Little orders start to come in. Then somebody's like, you should go to trade shows and events. Trade shows and events is where I became a hustler. I started to go out to events and realize nobody's coming on my online store to buy my tea. Nobody knows me. Nobody cares about me. I'm nobody. I need to go and put a face to my product, get out there and get people to try it, present myself, present my brand. So I started signing up for school shows. I pay $30 to get a table for 2 hours. I walk away with $250. Put myself into 3 more for $30. Come out with $800. Go into a bigger one for $150, walk out with $1,000. And I would do that. I started to go to garage sales. People are shopping garage sales. Like, like the lemonade stand. We have a table at a garage sale, big neighborhood. Everybody's coming to garage sale. You could buy a tea for $1, stuff like that. And I started to hustle like that. Bro, the hustle goes deep.
Jeez.
So just to give some back info where it all started and where this was all coming from, but to that point where it's like the hustle started when I realized that I need to get in front, show my face to the world and present my product.
So what makes you, in those beginning stages, what was exciting for you?
What was exciting was getting to talk to customers, get to introduce my products to them, and most importantly, which still happens to today in whatever respect I can, creating an experience. And like I always say, I'm not in the tea business. I have a tea company, 13 years, and I'm not in the tea business. I'm in the making memorable experiences business, and I sell tea. Right? It's pretty deep. And I think that's important, and I'll throw it over to you, but that's important because a lot of the times we start this hustle, but we don't really know what business we're in. So we're hustling the wrong way. We're thinking, I gotta sell tea. No, you gotta create experiences. Use this tea as a tool. In my case, what's it gonna be for you? So that's a little bit about like where mine hustle from. So I want to jump back in. So you make these dolphin videos, family's laughing, you're excited. What happens next?
I think sometimes being laughed at, I wouldn't say it's a source of motivation, but it's a source of I think inspiration to move forward. Like, I'm not motivated by people laughing at that point. It's almost like that's inspiring, that like, okay. And it's not that you want to prove anybody wrong. It's just like, okay, let me give you something more then. Let me keep going then. Like, but I don't know, like, does that make sense? Like, I'm not motivated by the laughing. I'm actually inspired by it. Like,
it's a nudge that you can evoke some type of reaction.
Yeah, right. So I use that as my inspiration. And then I was working at Honda, cleaning cars and rust proofing, and I've never had a skill, right? So one of the reasons for my excitement was that I've always been somebody with my hands, right? So like, I've never had like an actual talent or a skill. And it's just like my aha moment, like for you, when you dealt with that school and it was just a boom, 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 5 minutes, $500 contract. For me, it was like, you'll pay me to record this? Like, you'll pay me to edit this? And I'm still learning, and I'm still learning how to edit. I was horrible. My first wedding was used on a borrowed camera, borrowed lens. Like, I literally started with nothing, right? So now you have this inspired guy learning this new skill, absolutely no experience, and I'm just moving and moving. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. So now I hear that the way to get into the industry is you have to go to film school. So I inquire for film school, and at that point, I don't even know how much it is now, but at that point, it was like $30,000 for a semester. And I'm working on Honda, and I can't afford that, right? So I'm like, okay, that's a low ball. Like, I can't.
Was it a deterrent for you? Like, are you questioning your existence at this point?
No, absolutely not. It was that's motivation. That's one, because I'm like, okay, if this school, I wanted to see, okay, what am I gonna get from going to this institution? So what I did was, because I couldn't afford it, I went and did it myself. I went and learned myself. I went on YouTube. I got a camera. I started just getting my wife and just say, just run.
Stop. Now this causes a big divide. Self-taught versus going the school route or the educational route. A lot of people are torn between right now. Okay. Given that we're at this part in your story, is there advantages to learning yourself, or do I need to go the school route to get the foundation in anything? Back to you.
I don't want to, after 12 years of being a videographer, a photographer, I would never say it's a waste of time to go to school for this. What I will say is that I believe, based on what I've heard from people that are in film school, I have advanced more than them because I'm in the real world. School is not real world, right? Yeah. Like, even in educational school, right? Learning math is cool. You should learn it. But when you have to go buy that candy,
it changes.
It completely changes, right? Because you will learn very quickly that if you have $1, you need that 15 cents, right? You could learn it in school, like, but when you're in it, you gotta learn fast, right? So I think my experience of being self-taught, I have never gone to school for film. I've never gone to school for photography, yet I own a business for 12 years. I've shot over hundreds, 300-400 weddings. And some of the people that work for me, subcontractors, they have gone to film school, right? So it's like, there's a benefit of going because I think you learn the technical skills, but then the real life skills, I think you got to get thrown into the deep end. And I didn't get thrown into the deep end. I jumped into the deep end. And I think there's a difference, right? So to answer the question, I think there's pros and cons for going to school. There's pros and cons for doing it real world. But I think the pros and cons are better learning it by yourself and just going into the real world.
And a lot of it is, you got to know you, right?
That too.
You got to know you.
Okay, so I would say for yourself, what's your take on that? For someone that is starting out, I'm just starting my art, I'm just starting my photography business, I'm just starting my tea company, my whatever it is, do I go to school or do I just jump into the deep end? Your personal take.
Yeah. So this is my personal take, and I agree with you in the sense that, both ways have pros and cons. For me, gotta dive in. If I have the idea today, I need to be trying it by tonight.
Literally,
like
that.
I need the real world.
Pause. So you pause me, I'm gonna pause.
Yeah.
I want you listeners, viewers, to understand that what he just said is not even figuratively speaking. Dan, not entrepreneurs. I don't know a lot. I know him. Dan will literally, maybe even tonight, think of an idea, and by tomorrow, there's a full blog and a full website launched and ready to go. So, and I love that about you because it shows that you don't need to, for some things, you don't need to wait to start. You could learn as you go.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah, go ahead.
And I like that because it kind of goes to my answers. For me, education fills gaps, doesn't set foundations.
Let's cut to that camera for the big fact.
Education fills gaps, doesn't set foundations. Education fills gaps. It doesn't set foundations.
That's really good.
John! And you know what the funny thing is? It's just flowing. But real talk though,
That's really cool.
it fills gaps. So I'm like, the foundation for me is the real life experience.
Gotta talk in the mic though.
This is why he's a producer. The real deal, the foundation, the core is get selling, get building, get creating, get doing. Those are the foundational skills for me. Now, when I'm doing, can I do better? School or some type of learning platform.
With like advancing or
Filling.
okay.
What am I missing? Right? For instance, I don't have my MBA, but I've started several businesses that have made a lot of money. I've got several awards. I'm considered a multi-award winning entrepreneur. I built a store with my friend from scratch. It is a internationally acclaimed award-winning silver medal in design. I never went to design school. That doesn't mean I'm a great designer. I won an award from execution and vision. What am I missing? If I went to design school, I'd probably fill that gap. And so for me personally, I say you have the idea, go get the free information immediately. Start executing on it. Like right now I'm learning coding, right? Build an app. Like I built that website the other day. I showed you, it's working. Now what don't I know? Or what is it that I don't know? Is there a course? Is there a school? And fill in the gaps. So for me, I like the route of do and then go to school to find out what I'm missing.
Okay, so this episode, if you can tell, hopefully you guys can tell by now that it's about the beginning stages of hustling, and we're throwing in some hopefully nuggets for you and what you can take, and also our personal experience. What I would say, I'd ask you, Dan, is I'm the person watching this now. I want to start my business. Do I get funding? Do I bootstrap? Or first tell me what you did.
Yeah.
And then tell me pros and cons of both.
So just to get, like, I'll answer it for me quickly just so I could get back to them. I bootstrapped.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
Probably 6-7 years before ever getting any kind of funding. And by funding, I'm talking grants. Still not sinking myself into debt because I believe debt is the #1 killer of business startups. Right? Because you're focused more on paying back your debtors than your mission and why you started. That's my philosophy. So I say bootstrap. But more so because of what you will become in the process. I think
Jim Rohn.
business, exactly. It's not about what you do. It's
about
what you're becoming while you do what you do.
Huge.
So while I'm out there trying to make every penny work, when I spend $30 and go set up a table in a school where the parents are coming to shop little arts and crafts, I have to hustle. I have to make that $30 turn into something brand new, right? To these parents, presenting myself, stand out from all the other vendors that are in this place, which my rule is I never sit down. I always move the chairs away from me. Stand up while they're all sitting down behind their tables. Who's this guy standing? What's these graphics? Presenting myself, all that stuff. What I became because of that, I don't want the funding to give me some blanket that is just gonna make me bypass that. I don't want to. How about you?
Again, I second bootstrap. I think funding is cool, but I think what you just said is so perfect. I never even really seen it like that, but it's true. It's a blanket and you don't really get built up. You don't get built up because everything is at your disposal. So if you need 50,000 and you get 50,000, what did you really become in the process of getting it, right? So it's like for me, award-winning videography, wedding videography, published photographer, and all these great things and great accomplishments. And it started with a borrowed camera and a $50 lens, right? And with that experience and with the building and everything that I had to do before I got my first camera. Now when I look at this camera and that camera and that camera and that camera and this mic and that mic and this home studio and that computer and that computer and that light and the hundreds of contracts signed with deposits and balances paid, there's an appreciation. I became something through that process. Now, if I went back 12 years, needed 50,000, got the 50,000 and bought all these stuff, what did you become? It's like going to the gym and just going straight on steroids. What did you really build, right?
And at the same time, and sorry to cut you, I don't want to discredit you if you went straight for funding, because that could also say that you're good at coming up with a pitch deck. You're good at presenting your idea from concept and influencing investors.
100%.
You know what I mean? Those are all great skills.
100%.
But from a personal standpoint.
That's very good to cut that too, because I am talking about personally. I'm not saying that this is the way to go or it's the way not to go. This is just personally how J Pro started. It was like that, and that's how I view it. I don't think, based on my experience, that I would have really appreciated my company the way that I do based on how I started. I wouldn't want to be handed that golden nugget and just get everything you need and just go run the business. I think in the process of me bootstrapping it, I became the videographer, the entrepreneur that I am today because of that, the route that I took. That's what I think.
So, are you a hustler?
100%.
Why?
I'm a hustler because I think my definition of hustle, I think that's not a blanket statement, right? Because there's different type of hustlers. Somebody could be hustling online and they're just sitting and they are in front of their computer for 5 hours and they're literally hustling online and getting those online orders, and that's their hustle. For me, why I believe that I'm a hustler is because I think you don't stop. You don't, there's no stopping.
So it's an attitude?
It's an attitude, it's a mentality, it's a decision, it's a moving, it's a nature. And I think a hustler, you always see the fruit. And it doesn't have to be money. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, are you getting out there? Are you exposing yourself? Are you in front of everybody? Are you being seen? Are you doing things? Are you finishing projects? Are you talking to people? Are you out there trying to grow your business? Are you texting? Are you emailing? You gotta be moving, right? And I think when I think of that being a hustler, that's all I do. Every single day, I find a way to promote and expose my business. Every single day. There's not a minute that goes by that I'm not trying to grow my business. To me, that's a hustler.
If I could segue off of that, I probably have ugly feet. Those quickly went down.
I wouldn't do that with those feet. Not those feet.
Anybody offer manicure services out there? We can do some advertising.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Hustle to me is these three things. And if you are not doing these three things as a circuit, I say circuit because it should be continual. If you are stuck in any one of these, still not a hustler to me. It has to be an ongoing thing. You're imagining, so you have to imagine something. Dream, imagine, come up with, ideate, whatever. Imagination, learn, call it education, learn, whatever, research, development, anything. So you're imagining something, you start to learn about that thing, and then execute. Do something with what you just learned. Now, if you are just imagining, you are a Tommy dreamer. You are not a hustler. Tommy dreamer means you just sit and dream. You're a dreamer. You're not a hustler. If you are just learning, you're a nerd. Nerds are fine. There's nothing wrong with learning. Don't get
How
it
you
wrong.
said it was funny.
Yeah,
though.
I know. There's nothing wrong with just being a nerd. But you are not a hustler.
Yeah.
If you are now taking your imagination, learning, diving into it, researching it, finding out everything about it, and then putting it to work, to practice, executing against all of those things, you're a hustler. And then repeat. And you get better. You start to get wiser. You start to dream bigger. You start to imagine more, get more creative, and execute better. All my years in business, that's what I'm doing. Think, learn, and learn. A part of learning, a part of learning could be doing. But you are learning and then you're executing. Execution could be making it better, polishing. but you are doing this circuit and you do it year 1, year 2. I was T by Daniel. After going through the hustle mentality, I rebranded Daniel's Chai Bar, right? Rebranded. We became a marketing agency, marketing, right? Rebranded, Pink Burger Marketing, right? Rebrand, I Am Daniel, right? Rebrand. And you just keep going through this process. That's what makes you a hustler to me. Imagination, learning, execution.
That was just actually perfectly said.
Thank you.
I want to start a business and I want to be a hustler. I want to be a hustler. What attitude shouldn't I have going into business?
An attitude of, it's called, what do you call it? And I just heard it today. It's, basically, let me explain it because I don't know the name for it, but it's a small mindset where you think there are such limited resources in the world or in your business or in your industry that the only way you are going to succeed is if somebody else fails.
Okay.
I don't know the name to title that,
Yeah.
but it's a very small, poisonous mindset. And if you start your business thinking, for me to succeed and for me to climb and for me to get there, somebody's going to have to fall, I think that's going to be your downfall. There's more resources. There's collaboration, or there's healthy competition.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't have to fall for you to win. So in my instance, I'm getting into the tea industry and David's Tea's already in it. Dominating, amazing, actually inspiring. My thinking was not to get into the tea industry to bring David's Tea down.
Yeah.
But yet I'm very competitive. And yet I do want to win. And I do want to do better. But you don't have to fail. You might just own a certain segment of the market because customers like your products better, like your branding better, or your mission speaks to them. And that's okay. But I'm not thinking you will have total, utter failure for me to succeed. I think if you're going into business or you're going into a hustle like that, thinking how many people can I take out and that are going to fail and come to destruction for me to win, you're a loser.
I agree.
What about you?
What was the question?
So what attitudes or mindset or what do you think are the no-nos when starting your hustle, starting your business, starting your
I
grind?
think what you said is so true about, I've said this from the beginning since I started, like, I don't really have competition because I don't go in competing. I like to set trends, right? And if you follow the trend, then that's great. Why are you doing the same thing I'm doing? Like, I don't really care, right? Like, if I'm doing something that is inspiring or motivated, then I encourage it, right? So my mindset personally was never to, like, book out more weddings than the other videographer or get more photo shoots than other photographer. I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing to build my legacy, to build my finances, to build my company, to fulfill my passion, to fulfill my desires. I do not make packages or do projects or try to be creative or try to learn more to outdo A, B, C, D. I don't care. I hope that we all prosper. There's 100 and something thousand registered weddings a year in Canada. And I just need about 25 to 30 to be good.
A lot of people right there, I think, are going to challenge this perspective.
Why?
Fairly. That, are you thinking too small? Are we saying competitive nature is not good?
No, and
what are we saying?
And it's not that competitive nature is wrong. I just think there's if it's a takeover mentality, if that's your mentality, then that's your mentality, right? Like look at Mark Zuckerberg, right? Instagram comes out, I want to have that. WhatsApp comes out, I want to have that. And if you have the resources to take out your competitors because they're doing something more innovative than you, then that's you. We are simply talking about our personal mentality. And if that means that to someone that I'm thinking too small, then I've been living a very comfortable small life then. That I'm enjoying it. And I'm not saying that it's the right way, But that is how I have done business, and I've found great success for what I think success is in that way. It was like, I'm going to my couple, let me do my couple. You have your couple, you have your couple, you have your... This is me. This is my mentality, and my couples and my clients book with me
He likes it my way.
My
oh,
way. My way.
oh, oh.
When I
Say
say
go, I'm in control. That was a big tune.
Like,
No, but I hear you. This
see
is
that?
the way you like to do
And
it.
I understand there's rules of thumbs for businesses, Jim Rohn. I understand that this is not the popular mindset, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, you know, oh, you're not thinking big. You should have teams out. You should be shooting 50 weddings a year. You should be shooting 50 weddings a week. And that's not what I want. It's not a production. It's Jonathan's production. I believe that when you start out, let's get back to the root. When you start out your company, when you start out your business, when you start out your journey of entrepreneurship, whatever that may be, you got to set some foundations for yourself. How do you want to be portrayed? I wanted to have the experience with my couples. That's why I started taking selfies with them. I go to the bride, J Pro Crush Cam. I like that. I want to have an experience. I want them to have an experience when they book with me. I want them to feel that as I learn, my production gets better and I make a good amount of profit, but they're still feeling like they're getting a deal. That's just how the structure of my company is. And I think those are very, very key things that you have to implement from the beginning. How do you want to price yourself? How do you want to be portrayed? Do you want to be in the forefront of your business? I want to be the face of my company for this company. I wanted that from the beginning. I know videographers, I've never even seen their face. They have amazing work. I don't know who they are. That's fine. But that's not what Jonathan wanted. Just like Daniel. Daniel wanted to be T by Daniel, the face of the company. That's what he wanted. There's tea companies David's might walk right by you, never know who he is. David's Tea. That's how he wanted it. Very successful. You have to implement the foundation of your own company from the get-go. And as you evolve, as you hustle, as you move, it can change. But what is the foundation? Yeah.
Deep. I like that.
But yeah, that's just
I like that. What you said, and just something that really stood out to me, which I'm hearing from what you just said, is when you're starting your hustle, there's a big element of design.
100%.
You have to design, because if at the end of the day you realize that your hustle was just a reincarnated Mark Zuckerberg's, well, you didn't hustle. You're trying to replicate his, or you're just responding and reacting. Not responding, you're reacting to somebody that you're seeing or trying to compete with. You've got to be able to design what it's going to look like for you.
Yeah.
That's the only time it's your hustle. And not somebody else's or another success story. If you're getting into a tea game, you're not trying to recreate me or recreate David's. You're trying to do you. Same as, you know, in your industry. I think design is what I'm hearing you say. Like, design it yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Your hustle might only require you to work twice a week. Your hustle might only require you to have a certain amount of clients, make a certain amount of money, but live the kind of life that you want.
100%.
Right? Like, personally, I could say, the amount that I get to travel, be home, be with my family, incorporate my family, and how I get to do my business, I don't know that in a bigger, larger ecosystem, I'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd be willing to lose that quality time with family and those things that I like to do. And so maybe is not for me, but it's for me. You know what I mean? Design.
100%.
Hustle is not just about diving in and reacting to everything that's happening around you. Design.
And I think before we close out, I think with hustle, I think the foundation of today's episode was about hustling. And the reason, like when you asked me earlier about what do I think hustle is, hustling, and there's a maturity to hustling, right?
Like it changes over time?
It changes, right? Because like when we first started, We were doing everything to get ourselves out there. We're hustling. And I would really call myself like if grandma's walking for the first time and you wanted it recorded, I was there. Like everything that you wanted recorded, we were there. We did baptisms, we did birthday parties, we did grandma walking, we did everything that somebody thought was monumental in their life for that moment and they needed it recorded, we would do it. And I was hustling, knocking doors, putting flyers in the mailboxes. Me and my wife hired a team. We took over Peel Region. We were hustling. And now 12 years later, the lifestyle that I have built for myself, I'm not out there knocking doors anymore because of how much I hustled in the beginning. Yet I still see myself as a hustler. And I'm doing
in a different way.
Because my hustle has matured now. Now it's more like, hey, it's me. You want me? This is the price. I've proved and not that I've proved I'm the is all end all, but there's a maturity in my hustle now. My hustle more means if I could do what I'm doing and still enjoy my lifestyle, I'm hustling because I'm keeping up with my lifestyle. And that's, to me, I don't need to be knocking 10,000 doors anymore because my hustle has matured. And in that maturing, I've developed a lifestyle. I've developed a sort of income that maintains the lifestyle that I want. And I'm okay with that. So competing with other people to meet with the Joneses or keep up with them, I'll say I wave to the Joneses. I don't need to be competing with them.
To the Joneses.
I wave to them. I don't compete with them. Like, what are you doing? That's great. So I think hustling, it's a maturing process that happens over time.
I know we're closing out, but you just reminded me of when I used to be out at the farmers markets in costumes. That back in the day, just to get the business going.
Right.
Every Saturday, I was at the farmer's market. I was Popeye one week, SpongeBob next week, a lemon wedge next week, Buzz Lightyear, Flash. Yeah. And it's like, that was the hustle. I'm sweating, but it's bringing people in the doors of the shop. They're excited. Kids are taking pictures, all this stuff, and it's fun. Then I stopped the costumes, right? Some people are like, hey, where's the costumes? The hustle has changed.
Yeah.
Right? Now the hustle was meeting with landlords and mall property managers to try and get stores, right? Then the hustle changed. Then it was trying to get international, online, and e-commerce solutions and things.
Yeah.
Hustles changed. And so from glory to glory. Let's go to church.
Let's go to church.
Let's go to church. Bro, when it's in you, it's in you. But it just, you reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Just, you're going from stage to stage and I'm not going to get over it. You just end it. I don't know.
Guys, listen, we went way over time. So episode 1, hustle mentality, what it means to us. Hopefully you gain some nuggets from it. And until the next episode, guys, thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Welcome home.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home.